I always wonder whether or not all the stories in the Bible, it's just where we are experiencing it. Like the mark of the beast thing that we were talking about earlier. If that is not, I think if you had to tell a story for so many years, before anybody ever even figured out how to write it down, and you're telling a story about a civilization that allowed people to put brain implants in them, and then all of a sudden the brain implants were hijacked by machines, and people became just meat zombies controlled by corporations. That would be the mark of the beast. That would be a demonic thing. If a demon tricked human beings into wearing a hat that turned you into a zombie, that demon would be like a famous character in books and folklore. But that demon exists, and it's just technology. It just shows itself through this desire for the newest, latest innovations that are going to constantly fuel it becoming more and more powerful. Until one day it tricks you into letting it into its head, like a vampire. Like the vampire stories, you had to let them in, remember? That was the thing. You had to invite them in. And if you invited them in, you're fucked. But if you didn't invite them in, for some reason, they weren't allowed to kill you. That's almost like the story.
Thing, you have to be able to benefit from the zombie. Like, there's no benefit in that taken out of context. Like, if you're making them zombies so that they can mine for you, then there's a story of that over there. Like that's the whole thing, is when you look at these ancient writings, they're not saying like, so he was from another world, and we had to bring him our kids, and he would eat them in front of us. Like, they're not telling those stories. They're saying, like, agriculture and
knowledge,
literature and
cosmology.
Right.
Explain the origin of life. Yeah.
Like,
show the double helix DNA.
To a fault.
Yeah.
Nobody's saying anything outside of mathematic parameters.
Well, the wildest stuff is when you look at some of those old Sumerian tablets and you see how they had the solar system mapped out. They had the sun in the center, looked just like a sun with all the marks around it. It had Venus where it should be, Jupiter where it should be, Uranus where it should be. They were all in the right spots. It's crazy. Like
the Ethiopian tribe have the same. That's what I'm saying.
Crazy.
Like, no,
crazy.
It's not. Yeah, but there is no craziness.
All right.
Everything lines up. The same grids.
Look at that. That is just nuts, man. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what the conventional explanation for that is, because that Zecharia Sitchin guy who said all this stuff, he was often criticized. That people said that he took things too far, that his analysis went too far, and he just went into speculation. But god damn, a lot of the stuff that he was saying is like you could see the implication in the actual tablets themselves. They show these gigantic beings with these little tiny people like sitting on their laps, and the people have tails. Have you seen those? It looks like genetic engineering.
Maybe it's a tail, maybe it's piping.
Right. Jesus, right? It could be piping.
You understand
right.
what I'm?
Oh yeah, of course.
What I'm saying is nobody's telling these outlandish.
Right. But they're all kind of all saying the same thing. There's some higher power that comes and gives you structure, tells you what to do and how to live. And every society
information.
Information.
That's what they give you.
They give you information. Yeah.
Every story, every civilization, every time.
Yep. Yeah, that's it. And that's what we're all thirsty for. Right. You know? And when people
we're thirsty to monetize.
That's too. But also humans individually are thirsty for information. We always want information. We want gossip, we want news, we want bullshit, we want science. Especially if you have an appetite for, things that make you think. There's so much information that people are just constantly consuming. There's bullshit information like TikTok and nonsense that just passes you by. But there's still...
Yeah, but none of that stuff is nonsense.
Well, it's not all nonsense. What it is
It's just another
something
offshoot.
to get your attention.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is what all of this is about.
Mm-hmm.
From the Roman Colosseums
Yep.
to, it doesn't matter,
Yeah. The Roman
King
Colosseums
Arthur's court time, like.
That's the first viral videos, right? Like that's,
Right. Like,
they would tell viral stories.
yeah, this is all about this experience of being a human being in this amount of time.
Yeah.
And interaction between other people who have done this thing you're doing.
Yeah. And in the middle of you doing it, you realize you only have a certain amount of time. And you're like, God damn it. I'm just starting to figure this game out.
Right. So understand I was probably like 5 years old when I had that moment. So I lucked out because it happened to me so early. But it wasn't about I got that part. So I thought at like that age, I was thinking, okay, so I don't know how long I'm going to live because I'm kind of conflicted about how long people live. 100's a good number, but there's been people that 600, it seems. So I don't know. Like, seems like this. But I'm just going to space it out 7 years at a time. So every 7 years, that's going to be a life, so I don't waste anything. So I couldn't wait till I got 7 because that was going to be the start of my first life.
Why'd you break it into sevens? Just randomly?
I don't know what randomly means. It's a seldom seen thing in the universe. Randomly.
So just 7 seemed like a good number? Was it instinctual or was it
To people around the globe.
7? Yeah.
It's a great
It's
number.
a lucky number. That's why I asked.
Yeah, well, I'm saying not for no reason. I'm saying if you like math, I'm saying it's a great number.